not about the boys.
I just want to look cute.
I just want to look cute.
So then high school happens.
Who is this?
What happens?
How did we become this? The universe will never let you be at peace in a place or in a version of you that you're not supposed to be.
Welcome to For Mannerless Women, a space committed to nurturing a new generation of shame-free women. And I'm your host, Adelle Onyango. In this episode, we're going to be joined by Temina, and we're diving into self-love and how to rebuild your identity.
All the mannerless or almost mannerless women.
Okay, first and foremost, I have to say, thank you so much for coming. Like, it's incredible to meet you.
You too.
And obviously, we're going to sit down and have this incredible conversation on self-love and identity.
It's my favorite topic.
Yes.
Yeah, I could talk about like all day.
And I think it's so, commendable that you also talk about it on your social media platforms, like really trying to influence other young people, other women to just, check within, always go back.
Yeah. Because when I was trying to find my niche, I was like, I don't want it to be beauty lifestyle. I was like, let's just make it self-love. Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning, right? So we take you back to primary school. All right. What was your relationship with self like? Like, were you already aware of your identity? What are some of the things that you were interested in back then?
Yeah, I would say younger Temina was so, like, I haven't even caught up to her yet. The vibe was insane. Confidence was 150. You couldn't tell her anything. I could sing too, so if they ever needed someone to sing, I would be like, I'm right there at the front, ready to sing. I was every teacher's pet because I was so confident, ready to do everything. Yeah, it's like my vibe was very intense and it was on purpose because I knew who I was. I had a very clear dream and I wasn't scared of anything or like anyone. So that was my vibe in primary, which is so interesting because not most people are like that younger. Yeah, and I remember it used to be so outstanding. Like I'd go somewhere and I was really small. and I had like a
I like how you're like
I was tiny. Like I used in my essay they used to call me Teletubbies because I was so tiny and chubby. Yeah. But then I had like a big voice, and so when I would talk, sometimes you couldn't see me through the table.
Oh my
and they'd
goodness.
be like, who's talking? It's like it's that tiny girl. Yeah, but I had a big voice and I was always just ready to speak and sing and just share whatever was in my mind or my talent with everyone. So that was me in primary school. Yeah, I was in the 844 system, so I was ready to share my talents with the school or whatever I thought. I don't know.
The funny thing about what you're saying is, like, for my experience is when I went into therapy in my 30s, I think this is when this happened. Actually, just when I got into my 30s, I was probably maybe like 32 in therapy. And we were working on figuring out who I was and rebuilding my sense of self.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, one of the questions to help you start thinking about it is like, what were you interested in when you were in class 5, class 6? What were your passions? And when I was answering those questions, all of the things that I liked then are what I like now. But the time in between, like the world pulls you away from who you were.
Beats you down.
Yes, and then you have to spend so much money in therapy to go back to this primary version, the Teletubby
that you were. Yeah,
like she was onto something.
She was.
No,
she's the blueprint now.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what is going on in society? But like, was that your experience? Because you're this loud, bubbly, confident person in primary school. Was there points now that gets hammered out of you?
Just like you said it. So I had a very clear idea. It wasn't fuzzy. It wasn't like I thought I couldn't do it. I didn't think I was not good enough. It was the idea, and I knew I was qualified to do it, and this is what I was meant to do. But then as I went along, like we'd have things like a prize giving day in primary school, and we used to make presentations, so like poems, songs, all of that. And usually the teachers were in charge of all this. So a teacher would write a poem and then teach it to the students, and then we'd go and present it on the actual day. But students never used to really do anything. And I was like, why? So I was like, I'm going to start my own group. And and we're going to learn the choreography and the song, and I'm going to teach everything. So we would practice every day in the field. When it was like lunchtime or break time, we'd be practicing. I had the songs down. I had the choreography. I mean, like, who was I? Choreography? I can't dance now.
And teaching others.
Yeah, I was teaching them. I was like, this is the choreography. Now I can't dance, but I know I can. It's just like the body is not, because you have to be very free.
Yeah, and even like the confidence and release, right?
Yeah, and the release. And we had choreography down. We had the songs down. Yeah. So everything was good, and we went to present it. And then year after year, we'd be rejected.
Oh, dang.
Year after year.
By the teachers.
Yes, because you'd have to present it, they review it, and then they allow you to actually present it on the day. So every audition, we would be so good, but then we'd always get rejected. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? Yeah. And so that's when the confidence started to dwindle. You're like, can I really do this? Is this really good? And what made it even worse is when we'd be rejected, we'd be forced to go back to a teacher's group. And the teachers would always be like, what did you think? Did you think?
Like they were happy.
Yeah, they were happy. They were like, who did you think you were really?
Yeah.
And they would even announce it to everyone like, look, they're back. They've been rejected. Everyone teach them the poem.
They tried.
They tried, but they failed. So here they are now. So that was the vibe. So after like year of being rejected, and I remember I'd go home and my mom would always have like a big bag of snacks because she'd be like, she'd know I was so sad. She'd always be like, here you go. Because she was like, I don't know what to do. You keep trying and you keep being rejected. And she could see the confidence dwindling and she didn't know what to do. So she just always, every time after rejection, I'd go home and there'd be a big bag of snacks. I was like,
welcome.
Welcome. I know you were rejected.
Do you know, I really find it so dangerous, like when teachers project their fears or even their bitterness. It's almost like they're competing with
I'm like
the
9.
Kids. Yeah.
You what?
What is going on here? Yeah. I remember in primary school, I'll never forget Mrs. Njuki.
You look to be like,
just like, madam. So I was always interested in putting clothes together in like, and the colors and whatever, fashion. And we had like a fashion show. Ooh. And my mom wasn't those type of mothers who's like, you can't show leg, you can't, like, she, back then, tumbo cats, crop tops were tumbo cats. And it was just, actually, we called them tube tops because it was just like a tube that ran across. Yeah. And we were all trying to dress like Aaliyah. So you'd have this tight top and like baggy pants and whatever. And so I put together this look for the fashion show. And it was a Catholic school. And I'm there, and it was yellow. I had my yellow tube top. And I'm ready. And this lady, like, she really told me off, like, what are you wearing, blah, blah. And me, all I could tell is, like, but my mom bought it for me. Like, I just feel like
an adult told me this was
okay. She's really trying to shame me. And I still remember my mom having to come and tell her, but, like, it is me, what are these So, like,
what's the
she's
problem?
Not a nun. Like, yes, this Catholic school might have nuns, but she's not one. And, you know, you just go back in time and you're seeing all the ways like teachers just start beating out your identity.
Like censoring
exactly.
Your creativity,
Tell me about home life. What was because your mom is meeting you with snacks. Like, could you be yourself at home?
Yeah, my house was like, I feel like every single person in my house is like a character. I had like an iconic older sister. We have like a 5-year gap.
Yeah.
She was the icon, the Beyonce of the home. Yeah. And then we have like my mom, who's also very like liberal. Like right now, she literally has platinum blonde locks at this long, and she works in corporates. And
I love it.
She walks in long nails. Yeah. She always gets her nails done bright colors. Yeah. She only wears bright colors too. You can't make her wear dark color. And she only dresses African.
Oh,
as well.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. And then my dad's also like a character, life of the party. He's like loud. So our whole house just has characters. Like it's not a censored house. We are all very ourselves. We're all very loud. We're expressive. The way we dress, the way we talk. So my home was the breeding ground for the younger version of Temina. That's why when I'd go to school, I'd just be the same way I was at home. Yeah. I'm just confident because whenever I would sing at home, they'd be like, perform for us.
Oh, I love it.
I used to be like in the living room, like I have a performance. Everybody, and there'd be locked into my performance. I was the performing child for sure. Yeah, so the home was very much nurturing for talent and self-expression with like every single person. And my sister was like the pioneer of this because I felt like I looked at her and I was like, I'd want to express myself like this as well. Yeah, so the home was great.
So then high school happens.
Oh my God. High school was the most traumatizing experience of my life. I was like, because it started, I saw glimpses of it in primary, but now in high school, I think is when it took root because it was a boarding school. I feel like boarding school is like a mini simulation because you can't leave. So you have to, like, there's ideologies of the boarding school and you have to either submit to them or get in trouble. That's the only way. Yeah, so high school, I enter high school. Unfortunately, I passed, so I go to these...
Unfortunately.
I was excited at first, but then I went to a very strict school.
When you see the prize, you're just like, have you seen that meme of the angry kid receiving the present? Like,
is this what I get for passing? Because I went to a very strict school. They always used to be like, we use military ideologies. I was like, oh.
Why are they proud?
They were
These
so
are
proud.
children.
Military ideologies. I said, okay, cool, I guess.
Oh, goodness.
But then, so now the censoring starts because military ideologies also means, okay, obviously we're wearing uniform. That's fine. I was like, uniform? That's fine. They have rules on how you can tie your hair. So it has to be tied back. Naturally, obviously, I was trying to tie a bun. I was trying to mix it up. Like, I would spray my curls and like try and make them come out a little bit more, do a little like, they were like, you're trying to lay your edges? No, I would be in trouble all the time because my hair's in a bun. I'm trying to lay my edges. There's once they were like, you have to use a hair tie that's black. I was like, okay, black's fine. So I went and found something close to black. It was like another shade of black. And they were like, no, this is charcoal gray. We only accept... I said, is it that bad?
And also like,
like
what is it causing, this charcoal gray? Is it causing mass hysteria? Like, what,
no, they
what
said
is the problem?
A colorful hair tie will make the boys be attracted to you or whatever. I was like, a hair tie? That was always the excuse. Like anything was like a hairstyle that'd be like, you want the boys to like you. A colorful hair tie, you want the boys to like. It's like it's not about the boys.
I just want to look cute.
I just want to look cute. I just want to look cute and express myself. So the censoring was also with a overtone of like patriarchy and like misogyny, which was what was even worse because in my house, I didn't even know about misogyny. I was so shocked that everything revolves around the boys.
Because I was from performing to be chosen.
I was like, oh, because my house, we are only girls. My sister, me, and my mom, and then my dad became girl dad. So, I was so shocked.
It's so crazy because I experienced this in IB because the school I went to was a boys' school, and then only in IB do they have girls.
Okay.
And I remember I was in my proper bangles phase, like my bangles. You could hear me coming down because it was like bangles. And one of my friends was like, big earrings. And we were pre-uni, right?
Yeah.
And there was a time we were told, we kind of never forget it. I was going to say his name. Okay, but Mr. Kimweli. This is not cool.
I love the direct
I still
name.
remember that. And he said, we had this assembly, and he said, you guys can't, we can't wear these things, and we can't hug our male co-students or whatever, because we're giving the boys urges. And I remember because I was brought up in a home like yours, and I was just like,
urges.
So now what will they do in the workplace? Will all female staff have to remove their earrings and bangles?
What's a bangle gonna do? What's a bangle gonna do?
What are we really participating in here?
I don't understand.
So it's crazy to hear when you're telling me these things, like this is happening to young girls in different, you are a teenager in
so they're
high school.
Wiring your brain to think everything you do is for a boy.
And it's your fault if something happens. Oh, I was wearing this shade of eyeshadow. You know what I mean?
Why do you wear a red hair tie?
Exactly.
What did you want?
Charcoal gray.
charcoal gray, no, black.
Yeah. So you get out of high school. Do you immediately start to what parts of you were taken away from you in high school, do you think?
There were so many parts. I feel like it started with the self-expression because now I couldn't express myself through fashion or beauty because that was all censored. It got to a point because in the holidays, the girls would go and like shorten their skirts to make them look a little cute. I didn't do anything. I was wearing the longest skirt in the school to the point that I was once called to the office because she was like, "You're mocking me."
Yeah, this long skirt,
this is so long. You're mocking me. And I was like, "I'm not mocking you. This is how
so
I
said long."
You said long. This is long.
Yeah.
And I remember she was so annoyed. She was like, "You're actually mocking me with this skirt because this is too long." But I was like, yeah. So I stopped. I was like, the more invisible I am, the less trouble I get into. So I was trying every single way to just be as unseen as possible, which is like a stark difference to younger Temina, who was being seen and was like out there and everywhere and loud and confident. This one was like a more muted, invisible version of me because and it worked because then I got through the 4 years with very minimal trouble compared to like my sister. At fact, my sister was like the opposite now. She said, "You want me to do what? I'll be in trouble." I'll be in trouble. It's okay. Take me to the office.
Detention.
I'm not changing anything. This is me. Take me to the office. That was the opposite. I was like, I'll mute everything. I'll be more silent. So I didn't talk much. I didn't really sing much. I was literally like a shell of myself. And when I'd go home, my parents would be like, what's going on? What's going on? At least I did music, so that was the only thing I was left with to express myself because I was still singing in the choir and like playing the violin. But then other than that, I was just like a complete... I know if younger Temina saw that version, her jaw would be on the floor. Like, who is this?
What happened?
How did we become this? It's like,
But we become, we build identities for survival.
Exactly.
And then we live that identity for so long that we start to think that's who we are.
Yeah.
Until some discomfort happens and you have to start like shedding. And it's like, oh, wait, this is not me at all.
I always say the universe will never let you be at peace in a place or in a version of you that you're not supposed to be. So there'll always be pushback. If you're like, maybe at this 9-to-5 job, you always find maybe your boss hates you or something. And it's like, because this is not you. Get out immediately. So you'll never be fully at peace in a version of yourself or in a place you're not supposed to be. I feel like life will always push you out and give you certain discomforts until you realize, oh, this isn't me.
What was your wake-up call?
I think my wake-up call first was going home. Whenever I'd go home, so 3 months in the boarding school, go home, like it was like like such a shock. I feel like my system would be like, oh wait, this is where I come from. It's like,
and then you go back and
I go back again and I'm depressed again. And then I'm back. So it was such a cycle of, at least I had home base to always remind me. So I never really, it was not, it's not that I thought this was me. It was a version of me adapted for survival. But that's when I realized my self-expression is linked to my mental health, because I think that's when my mental health was at its lowest. But even then, I remember when I was journaling, I said, this depression is being caused by my environment. I was like, once we make it out, I think every day in my journal, I'd be like, 48 days left.
Like
41 days
drawing
left.
The sticks in jail, right?
30 days left. I was just like, the environment is the issue. And I was like, once I'm out of this environment, I'll then be able to live up to my true self. So the wake-up call was home, and then the environment would drag me back. So there was no way to break out of it at the time, because when you break out of it, you have to be comfortable being in trouble. And unfortunately, I also like rules sometimes. So I was like, I don't want to be in trouble. I just want to survive.
So how do you start, when you leave high school, how do you start rebuilding yourself? What are the things that you do?
So I started actually in high school. I went home and I was like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I was like, this is going to be my outlet. So I did start it while in high school. I think my first video is in 2017. That's when I was still in high school, because I finished high school in 2018. So I started it while still in high school.
Freedom was almost coming.
It was almost coming. I was like, okay, let's just start the YouTube channel and get it started. Yeah. So I think my first video was like a song cover.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah, let me put that out there. And then I kept posting. And the more I kept posting, I was like, oh, my mental health is doing better. So even when I was in school, it's like I was just reading, clocking in. But then I was like, I'm so excited to go home to post another YouTube video. So I found like my little outlet. Yeah, so that's how it started. And so I started posting on YouTube a lot. So my entire uni journey is on YouTube. And it's actually so interesting. I looked back at my videos and I started a self-love series. And I was like, self-love series?
You were doing that back then?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I went back and I was like, I actually had a series on self-love around when I was like 19, 20. And I was talking about affirmations because I was like, how do I get myself out of the hate that they have made me have for myself that never existed. So I was trying to find ways. So I was doing lots of research because I was like, this is not me.
Yeah.
But now in these 4 years, they managed to impact me. Like there was a considerable difference of my self-love.
Yeah.
When I started high school and when I was done, it was in the gutter. So I was like, how do I rebuild this back? My goal was like getting back to younger Temina. That's still the goal now because I feel like I haven't even clocked that yet. Yeah.
And that's the key. Like when I figured it out for myself, I'm like, oh, we were already all we needed to be.
Literally.
Like by the time we were 9, 10, we were already who we need to be. I don't know what all this other fluff is, right?
Yeah.
And so self-love now, what is that for you?
Oh, I love this question because I was reading a book, I think when I was... It's always interesting the type of books I was reading because my mom used to have books. And I remember I was saying I read The Secret when I was a teenager and people were like,
wow.
So I stole it from my mom's room. So I was like, The Secret? What secret? Yeah, so I stole it from my mom's room. Started reading about the mind and rewiring the mind. So that was my first. I was like, oh, the mind is what I need to target because my thoughts then shape who I am and then shape my reality. So I was like, good.
Yeah.
And then I read this book, All About Love by Bell Hooks. So putting the two together, I was like, what is self-love to me? And I linked it back to love because I feel like society loves to talk about romantic love. That's everything from when you're young. All the Disney movies are like, love is the truest, it's the most powerful thing in the universe. And I was like, yeah, love is. So I was like, it's not only love romantically, but it's also to yourself. And so for me, love isn't a feeling. So after reading the book, I was like, love isn't a feeling. I say love is an action. And so self-love is an action as well. And I think that rewired my brain because it's like, you don't have to match it to how you're feeling. Because most of the times when you're talking about self-love, people are like, but I don't feel pretty today, or I don't feel like I'm where I need to be, or I'm not who I want to be, or I feel behind. And so they feel like then you can't love yourself. But then if love is an action, it doesn't depend on how you feel. You can still show yourself love. So if you feel less than pretty, you can still show yourself love on that day. If you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, you can still show yourself love on that day. So rewiring it to be an action and not a feeling is what rewired the entire self-love thing for me, because I was like, I can still find ways to show. It's not about how I feel. I can still show myself. If I'm feeling sad on a certain day, I can still, journal, do something cute for myself because I can still show myself love, even though I'm not feeling that love towards myself at that time.
I love this definition so much. Like if I could nod harder, like my head would fall off. Because understanding that for me changed even how I approach things that maybe when I was younger were presented as chores or boring. Even when you look at like healthy eating, I look at everything as a service of love to myself.
Exactly. I call them my little acts of self-love.
So then it makes it easier for me not to be snacking endlessly because I'm like, why don't you love yourself? Because there would be balance if you did, you know? And even when you're talking about on the days you don't feel like it, because sometimes, especially luteal phase shows me hell.
That's the toughest one.
Exactly. That I'm just like, what is happening? But on those days, maybe just getting up and taking a nice hot bath.
That's already an act of self-love.
And even if that's all I have the capacity for, That's how I'm showing you love today, imagine.
Yeah. I even talk to myself in third person. I'll be like, today, I'll plan your day the night before. And that's like my little act of self-love, because I know I'll be anxious the next day if I don't. So it's like I'm trying to make sure my day tomorrow is good. And that's my act of self-love. It's not these big things. Yeah. It's like it's very little things that are your acts of self-love.
And you don't, and even like this example, then you stop looking at it as a chore or this thing that's part of your routine. Right. That then your energy towards it when it's that is like, oh my God, I wanted to sleep, but now I have to write my to-do list, you know? But when you look at it, it's like, this is how I'm going to show you love. I'm going to make sure tomorrow you have a calm day,
a
right?
slow morning, you know? I want you to enjoy your morning, so let me do that. I always say self-discipline is the highest form of self-love, because when you can get to a certain point of discipline because you're like, I want this for you, that's when you reach like pinnacle of self-love, because it's like you're ready to do certain things for the future version of yourself.
Yes.
Because you love yourself.
Yes, exactly. Do you have rituals or like things that are must happen?
Oh, yeah.
For you? What are those things?
I feel like I have such a long list, but I'll limit it because I feel like I have so many things.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, it always starts, especially in the night and then the next morning. So during the night, I'll do the whole planning. These are the rituals, like I'll plan my day so that I have a slow morning, because I hate fast-paced anxiety morning. I just hate it. I hate it. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'll always plan my day the night before, and then in that morning when I wake up, I'll always do like morning pages where either I journal or I just brain dump what's on my mind, because I feel like I have so many thoughts.
Yes.
And I'm like, let me journal. So I'll put aside like 5 minutes just to like put something down on paper. And then that's when the fun part starts. That's when I start. I always have an affirmation playlist.
Oh, wow.
It's called I'm Thriving. You'll have the link.
Yes, we'll put it in the description.
Yeah, I'll listen to that. So it has just so many affirmation songs that you can listen to. Yeah. So I always do that while I get ready, like I shower. And then when I'm done, I also do the same in my mirror, because I feel like the mirror now is a game changer.
Yes.
Because I feel like the reason other people's words have such an effect on us is like most of the times they're looking at us as they say these words, so they last. And we don't look at ourselves much. You can only look at yourself in the mirror.
Yes.
And so when you tell yourself the affirmations and the words in the mirror, it's like you'll start to see, even sometimes when you start it, you'll see when you say such a certain thing, your eye like flinches because it's not believing you.
Like, what is this?
Your body's like, really? Yeah. Because you'll be like, you're beautiful, and your body's like,
are we?
Oh, I'm not feeling that today. And then even the more you do it, the more you'll see how it changes in the mirror. Yeah. The next time you say it, maybe your body is more calm with the thought. It's like, okay, maybe I am. Yeah. And then by the time it's like 3 weeks in, you find your body is completely relaxed with the thought of that you're beautiful or that you're smart.
It now.
It's like now you start to believe it. It's like, okay. So I like mirror work because you can actually see yourself, the reaction you have to some of the things you're telling yourself, and then the growth, you'll as well see it. Even recording yourself, you can see it, because your first video is not going to look like your 10th video when you're telling yourself this affirmation.
Yeah. I love what you're saying about the mirror, because I started doing it. Yeah. And what I was trying to, your mind, because of all the shame that is sent your way, and then you internalize it, it actually starts to shame you. It contributes.
It does.
It shames you in a hot manner if you let it.
Even
right?
worse than everyone else.
It takes it there. And I just started looking in the mirror in the morning and being like, I'm going to say something good, and I'm going to look for something that I love. Yeah. Right? In what I'm seeing. And the more I did it, I actually find myself saying it without, it's strange, without even thinking it. Like, I don't even have to say, okay, now mirror work has begun, you know? So now I'll go to the mirror and I'll be like, you're so pretty.
Yeah, it's so natural.
It just comes out. Like, I like you with no hair. Yeah. I like this better. This is great. Yeah. What are we doing today? You know?
Literally, yeah. And it's even just talking to yourself. It doesn't have to be like you're so beautiful. It could even be you're going to do what you said you're going to do. Yes. Yeah, you're capable, you're smart, you're powerful. And it's like, yes, I am. And then you start to believe it. Yeah.
And one of my friends, Valentine Joroge, she told me this so many years ago, and she was so shocked that I still remembered it. But I was like, that's so smart. She said, speak to yourself as you would your lover. She actually calls herself love. So when she's talking to herself, she'll end it with like love. And I was like, that makes so much sense, because why are we so quick, and we find it so easy to give love to others, but to ourselves we're like, now today you didn't do this right. Why did you wear that? You looked so funny. It's just like, but
it's the romantic love propaganda, because we've only been taught romantic love, right? And that's why everybody latches on to romantic love, because you feel like that's the only place you can be told you're beautiful and like romantic things can happen for you, because that's all we've been taught. So I always say, actually, when you're practicing self-love, borrow from romantic love and then do those things. Because I remember like last year I had a time I was like, every week I'll get myself fresh flowers for my house, and that's something a romantic lover would do for you. It's like, oh, they got me flowers, but then you can do that for yourself as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we've only been taught romantic love. Oh, how to talk to your partner. You're not that mean to your partner.
Yes.
When they have a bad day, you'll be like, oh, you'll try and encourage them. So it's like borrow from that and then apply it to yourself, because that's all we've been taught. So we have to reteach ourselves to apply it to us as well.
And why that's so important is because when we bring it down to women, even in how we were socialized to approach romantic love, it was to be so in service that you deplete yourself, right? Yeah. So this is so important to like learn how to pour back into yourself in a system that says you're a good woman the more depleted you are. So you're really working hard to rewire. How do you make sure there's no confusion between self-love, like this work that you're doing when you're talking about affirmations and mirror work, and it's a self-love day, I'm going to put on a mask, a face mask. Like there has to be the inner work, right?
Right. So I think for me, even the mask thing, I think that took the tone it took because of capitalism. Of course, they have to sell.
They have to sell something. You know, they're like, they're talking about self-love now.
Let's see how we can plug into this and make money. So I think that came from the capitalism side, but it only focuses. I always say it only focuses on one side. So that's like the self-love that's like attached to your beauty, or when you do the face mask and self-care, that's more attached to it's more attached to beauty and like. Of course, you want to glow the next day, so you do the face mask and you go do your nails and you have maintenance and you do your hair. So that's just one part of it, as I usually say. It's just literally one little part. There are so many other parts. So how to not get it confused, again, as we're saying, actions. That's why I said even self-discipline is the highest form of it, not your mask. Your mask is not the highest form of self-love, because you could be putting on your mask and you still really hate yourself as you're doing it. Yeah, so I think it's dividing it into all the parts that are important to you. So we have self-discipline. So what are the things you do for the future version of you? Are you working out? Are you reading more? Are you educating yourself? So like, what are you pouring into on that side? And then there's like the whole, even the grounding side. So if you're a little anxious, if maybe you're depressed, do you go to therapy? Or are you finding ways to ground even in your home that you don't have to pay for? Because there's also self-regulating methods as well. So what do you do when you're anxious? Do you go home and regulate? Do you put on a YouTube? Because I sometimes put on YouTube videos and I just like ground and have moments of silence. So you have to split it into all those parts, and that's when you realize the face mask is really just actually that's the easiest part. Going to buy a face mask and doing that's the easiest one. These other ones, like finding ways to ground yourself, self-discipline, those are the harder ones, because that's when it's now like, oh, you have to start facing your shadow self. When you journal, who is that? Why did you do this? And you start facing your trauma in therapy. Those are the harder parts. So and that's why capitalism doesn't focus on those, because that's hard. So,
and then we're not sure we're making quick money there.
That's a bit tough. I don't know. Maybe let's not talk about your trauma today. Maybe let's talk about your face. Get a face mask. So I feel like it's just one part of it. But it's still a fun part, because I feel like it is still fun to like wear your face mask on a Sunday, because I always feel like very like younger Temina with me, because I remember when I was younger, it was so interesting. Because there were no face masks and everything, I'd go to the kitchen and I would be there with the eggs.
And then, like mixing it.
And I'd be in the backyard with cucumbers in my eyes.
And it's drying.
And it's drying, and my dad would be like, oh my God, this girl is insane. Because what do you mean? And I'd beg them to buy me cucumbers for my eyes. I remember one January I was like, Mom, please, can I have a cucumber? And she was like, the economy is bad. It's January. And I'm like, it's a cucumber. Just one cucumber.
I think it was because you were not eating them.
Putting them in my eyes. And she's like, I'm not going to buy you a cucumber to put in your eyes. And my dad had to buy me a cucumber in secret because he was like, I know your weird things that you like. Here you go.
This is incredible. So you're in a space, because like the digital space is, you could say pockets of it are similar to high school.
Yes. Oh, right. I feel like social media has become like high school.
Right? It's something. And people still try and police women.
Oh yeah.
It's so intense. I think last year, 2025, UN Women said like online misogyny, they declared it a crisis. It's at a crisis level.
Yeah, that's good. It
needed
to be declared.
It really is. And so I wonder, how do you protect your identity while navigating social media, while navigating relationships and friendships? How do you still make sure like that sense of self is still intact?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel especially like after high school, when I saw how bad it could get, when I got out, I was like, oh, we have to be strict. We have to be strict about this now because we can't go back to that version.
Yeah.
So even starting with social media, because I do experience, like social media is so funny because you could literally say, I am beautiful. And they'll be like, who told you? Who said?
It's so weird.
Like any show of self-esteem rubs people the wrong way. Especially men the wrong way. If you think you're good at something or you have like a high opinion of yourself, the men are so ready to be in the comments to like tear you down. For me, first, even with social media, I really use the tools. I feel like the tools are so underrated. You will be blocked immediately. This is a dictate. This is my boarding school now.
Management results rights.
I'm going to block you, restrict, mute. I'm going to. I was even exploring the different options. I was like, Instagram has actually provided us with many. Wow, there's so much. I could mute you. I could block you.
Mute certain words.
I can mute certain words. I could literally just type it, you're done.
Yes, I don't even see it.
I don't even have to see it. So at first I really use the tools. And then secondly, I always say I don't live on social media because I feel like especially as an influencer or content creator, you could end up living on social media and making it your own little simulation and thinking everything there is real. I feel like when people say touch grass, it is, you do need to touch grass because you don't live, it's not your home. Get out, do more things, like find other hobbies. Even if this is your job, find other hobbies on the side to do. Because when you start getting into the loop, people also start joining the group of people tearing people down when you start living there, because now you're irritated by everything. You're irritated by someone's self-esteem when someone loves them. So if they say they're shaving their head, you should say, I miss your hair. It's like this. No, go touch some grass. This is not an actual real place. And the third thing is I remind myself who I'm creating for, because sometimes when you get hate or funny think pieces about yourself, you might start forgetting who's your audience and want to start creating for those people, like, let me prove you wrong, or it's like, that's not who you're creating for. Ignore them, because actually when you do go out in real life, the people who approach you are people who watch your content, and that's the point. If you like the content, watch it. If you don't,
scroll.
Don't watch
even
it.
You block me.
Yeah, I always say don't stress yourself on your phone. Block me, mute me, unfollow me. That's not your vibe. Come out of it. It's not a must. It's not a forced issue. So I always feel like people forget the free will aspect of social media. You can clock out if you want. So those are the three things. And reminding yourself who you're creating for then makes you create more freely, because it's like, even if the people do hate on it, those are not the people you're creating for. I don't want to create community with you, because even if I had a real life event, I don't want you to come.
And based on how you're speaking, even you don't want to come. So I don't know why we're conversing.
Let the people who want to come and create the community be the ones there. So those are the three things I use for social media, because I feel like that's the toughest one.
It is.
With friendships and relationships, it's always like there's a strict, the program just keeps getting stricter and stricter. Because I remember we were talking with my sister about this, and it's like in our house, it would even be like, for example, if I wear something and you're immediately like, why are you wearing that? You're out already. I have like certain points where I'm like, unfortunately, you're out. Because I remember with my sister, we were talking about, because my sister is like a baddie. Like she dresses like a baddie for real. And in our house, it's so normal. My dad now is even like, wow.
Yeah. We're used to it now.
Yeah, nice outfit. Yeah. Okay, cool. And even once I remember I was wearing something and then I wore like a poncho on top of it to cover. And my mom was like, why are you wearing that poncho? Take it off. Remove the poncho.
We want to see the look.
Yes. The poncho is ruining everything. She was. And so in our house, it's not censored. So I use the values created in our house to be like, if you're trying to police how I talk, what I wear, you're out.
Yeah.
And that applies to friendships as well. So I have like a very strict boundary system. If you start to cross it, you just either never hear from me or I'll apply the boundary. And then if not, that's it. Especially with relationships, you're not going to hear from me after I've applied the boundary.
I'm so happy to hear that, because one thing I always say is especially if you're a woman who's attracted to men, I always say the most dangerous man to me is a man who is a threat to my identity and my ambition.
Oh, yeah.
You are a terrorist. Like, you're genuinely a terrorist. And I have to, the same way we would react when there's a threat to the country.
That's
how red alarms blare, like, hey, intruder alerts, literally. You know? Because those are the things that matter most to me.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to mess around with that, you're a very dangerous person.
Literally.
And so I love that you're aware of that. And even when you're talking about social media, it's like, it's so important. Balance in life. You have to have balance and know, I'm here, yes, I enjoy it, but it's also work.
Literally.
It's like if I was clocking into a 9 to 5, you would not find me in the office at 8 p.m. going back and forth with my manager. No, I would be at home.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So I love everything you're saying, and I just have to give you flowers for
thank you.
even making sure the content you're creating is not frivolous. It's anchored on self-love and helping other women. And there's so much you've just even taught me in this episode. Really? Like your definition of self-love, incredible. And so as we wind up, what would your mannerless message be to the woman watching this? And you can like speak to her, or what would you want to leave her with?
Yes, I was thinking about it all night. I was like, what am I going to say? It's like an exam. Like, it needs to communicate everything I wanted to say in like one message. And then when I was thinking about it, there's always one message I like anchor and always also tell myself. So I was like, that's going to be my mannerless message. Okay. So I think I can look at the camera as I say this. So my mannerless message to all women is that being yourself is your power, but loving yourself is your superpower. There's a reason society tries to get you to hate yourself. There's a reason they try to put you down. It's because they know the power that you would hold if you are yourself, and even more if you loved yourself. So being yourself is your power, but then loving yourself is your superpower. Yeah.
Like, that's the one.
That's the one. I was like, yes, I got it now.
You're scared of a woman who loves herself.
Yeah.
A woman who's happy, even a happy African woman. Such a threat. So do it.
Yeah, I always get messages they're like, stop laughing.
So you want me to cry?
What's the issue? Like, isn't laughing a display of joy?
Is that it?
And there's so many think pieces. Why does she laugh? Why is she laughing, please?
This is strange behavior, though. Like, I think my reaction would be perplexion. Like, are you fine?
I was so confused. I looked at it and I was like, this is misogyny. Like they don't want a woman to be
even
a
woman's joy is a problem.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. Like, the work you're doing, please don't stop laughing or the work you're doing, even in expressing yourself through fashion and music. And I know you're involved in like incredible projects that are also like challenging the norms and pushing people to be more free. So please don't stop. Right?
Yes, I'm definitely going to continue.
Yeah. And make little Teletubby Temina
I need to
proud.
Get there.
Yeah. Make her proud. But thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I've enjoyed the conversation. I hope you have as well. There's so much wisdom that has been shared, and I hope you've taken something with you. If you enjoyed the episode, share it with all the mannerless or almost mannerless women in your life. All of the links that the affirmation playlist that Temina talked about is going to be linked in the description. But make sure while you're checking it out, you subscribe so that you don't miss out on the next episode.